and we'll see who joins. What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. This is like maybe our second to last or third to last episode. So like and subscribe. Tell some people about the fun they're about to start missing. You know what I'm saying? When this doesn't happen anymore. But we're going to finish the season. We're going to finish the Champions League, and we're going to finish the Fantasy League. And right now, this week, we're going to talk about the FA Cup Finals. Crystal Palace, congratulations on your first trophy ever. We're going to talk about the Europa League final between Man United and Spurs. And then we're going to talk about who's going to get these last Champions League spots. You know, who's going to get these last? Let me read the list of choices available, the candidates available. And what up, Neil? Available for the last Champions League spots: Chelsea, Aston Villa, Man City, Nottingham Forest. That's how many teams for? And Newcastle as well. Yeah, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams, 3 spots. It's tight, y'all. It is tight. We got Lee Hudson, stand-up comic, Southampton fan. His team is not fighting for any spot at the top or the bottom of the table. It just is what it is. Sorry, fam.
We got a new fight now.
What's
no
that?
team has ever lost 30 Premier League games in a 38-game season.
Shit.
And we are currently on 29. So we avoided the lowest points record. We haven't avoided the most losses record yet. So that's what we're playing for. We still got stuff to play for.
Who you got this weekend?
Arsenal.
I guess. Congratulations on the record. Congratulations on breaking the record now. Or are we bullshitting? Are we going to pretend?
I hope that somebody did the players.
You hope that what?
I hope that somebody at game week 34. Hey, this is what you need to avoid next week. Hey, this is what you need to avoid next week. Your opponents next week, Wigan from 2011. Your opponents next week, like some Coventry from 1996.
I'm just hoping Arsenal got nothing to play for, so we might have a chance. We could just sit for a 0-0 like we did against City.
That's true. They did seal up second place, so they can't Spurs it now. So now they might be comfortable. So we'll see.
I feel like with Arsenal though that they're always playing for something because every week there's Judgment Day on Arsenal fan TV.
Yeah, their fans be
regardless
pissed.
of what happens.
Yeah, their fans be pissed. They do not like losing anything. Like, you know, Yard Man with his hot hat.
He's got the hat out. You see that?
Yeah, we should have them. I don't know that hat should be selling to any football fan who's not an Arsenal fan, just for the fun of it. Like, he should be loaded because there's more non-Arsenal fans than Arsenal fans, and we should just be rocking that for the fun of it. Let me see if I can order some for us.
I actually saw a video. I think who's the United fan? KG who's also in that Lasso. He did a road trip and actually visited Yardman's shop. Like, he's got a little Jamaican restaurant. Like, I think it's a grocery store. He's actually pretty funny.
Are you talking about KG?
Yeah, so KG went and visited Yard. That's the video I've seen.
Yeah, I heard about that video. I haven't seen it, but they always. I watched Best of Frenemies or Best of Enemies.
Oh yeah.
But that's a KG represent Man United. Expressions were representing Spurs and shit. Why can't I remember? What's his name representing? Say again.
Does Flex come on sometimes?
Yeah, the 3 of them are on there. What's the architect of Arsenal Fan TV? I don't know why his name is slipping.
Robbie.
Robbie. Yeah. So they always are going at it. You can't understand anything on the show. They just talk over each other. But yeah.
My Jamaican lingo is getting better. Yeah, Ian, what you couldn't do all this while.
You didn't ask. You didn't ask. Plus, I didn't want to talk to you in a language you didn't understand. You know,
I think I met you. I think I met you a decade later. Too late.
too late. A decade too late. Yeah, I'm too Americanized now.
You doing Duolingo Patois, Neil?
I think I got too many languages on the Duolingo.
You should know enough Patois just from cricket.
Yeah, I know like the Wagwan. I know a lot of like, I think I know more songs, Calypso songs than actual language.
I'm going to watch Jamaica versus Trinidad and Tobago in the football next Tuesday, so I need to learn some before then.
Hilarious. Where are they playing at?
Brentford.
Oh yeah.
Do they have like a decent Caribbean community there?
It's West London, so yeah, there'll be big numbers. Because they got on the Tuesday they've got Jamaica versus Trinidad and Tobago, and then on the Wednesday they've got Ghana versus Nigeria, and then at the weekend the winners will play each other and the losers will play each other.
So what is it? International week right after?
Nah, it's like a little friendly tour. Yeah, there is International week coming up because Tuchel's naming his squad this week.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, for these ones they're playing it all in the UK, so that like the the immigrant populations in the UK can see them, and obviously they got a lot of players who play here, so
Right.
it means less travel kind of thing. But I'm looking forward to it. I was like, I want to see a different game. So yeah, I'm going to watch Jamaica versus Trinidad 2 days after I watch Southampton Arsenal. So I get to go from like the saddest stadium ever to the happiest stadium ever.
It's stereotypical. You're going to an angry place, especially with the. It'd be funny to see Lee come back on the podcast. Wagwan, blood, Arteta, halt. It's like we got this Duolingo accent. Chop off, add H's where there ain't no H's, and A's where there ain't no A's. I guess we talk about Man City losing in the FA Cup final 2 years in a row, and Crystal Palace doing their thing. Last week when we did predictions, I figured Crystal Palace could pull this off, and they pulled it off the way that I thought. Just low block, counter, and just nullify everything that Pep has created about football. You know, how to move, inverted left backs and right backs, any type of innovation he's ever had to football, which is so many, can be completely shut down by a good old low block, but with effective forward, like higher caliber forwards than most old school low block teams usually have, people with more technical ability. And yeah, that's what Crystal Palace did. And years ago, I've always been saying, Eze, buy his stock high, buy low because it's going to go high. And Eze, Crystal Palace has never won anything before. And Eze's one of the people that brought it to him. So, yeah, hats off to Crystal Palace. And, City's there for the taking this year. It's just, they're just beatable. And if you show up, Southampton, broke the curse with them 2 games ago. So what do you guys think of the FA Cup final?
I thought it was good for football to see City lose another cup final, an FA Cup final 2 years in a row. And it was good to see a club like Palace, who haven't won before, get their hands on a trophy. I was really pleased as a neutral in that game to see that. The game was good. City obviously dominated the ball as you kind of expect, and they just looked like it wasn't happening for them in that final third. That final ball just wasn't there. The penalty wasn't a penalty. I thought Tyreek Mitchell got a toe to that, so the ball didn't lie. It was a good save from Henderson as well. But
you're a goalkeeper, yeah. Let's talk about this.
That was hands down a handball outside the penalty area. The referee's like, "Oh, the ball's going away from goal." It's like, yeah, because he smacked it away from goal outside the area. So that is 100% a handball. And then whether or not red card, yellow card, whatever happens after that.
How could it not be a red card if it's a handball? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, with the striker that close, it's almost certainly going to be. And then obviously the game changes completely if that's given. But I guess we'll let Crystal Palace away with one if we're letting Man City away with 115. So just chalk that one up to some karma, I would say. And it was quite funny seeing Pep lose his head about it at the end when he confronted Henderson. And Henderson was just like,
who's the worst person to confront?
Yeah.
Because Henderson does not give a fuck.
No, absolutely not. So I really enjoyed that. I mean, yeah, terrible call from the officials. But, if you're going to make a terrible call, make it against City in those circumstances, please. That's one where I'm happy for VAR to completely mess up and get something wrong, or refs to mess up and get something wrong. So I was pretty happy with that. And just credit to Palace. The goal was great. It was old-fashioned football, just like, well, they played short a few passes first, but then it was like, let's get into Mateta. He sets it off, gets it back out to Munoz, who's been, I think, one of the standout players of the season, and then great cross, and Eze just calm, composed, like perfect finish, perfect positioning, perfect finish.
More composed than Salah was today when he was in the same position.
Yeah. Got to give you your props for singing his praises for so long, because you have been, people can go back through the episodes. I think it was as soon as he went to
the day
Palace,
he was born. The day he was born.
You were like, why weren't United going for this guy? Could have saved yourself some money if you'd have, if they'd got him early. So, just good to see from Palace. Obviously, they almost got that second goal, which was ruled out through an offside when Munoz did score off the rebound. But yeah, Palace fully deserved, and it was great seeing their fans celebrating. I know a couple of Palace fans as well, and I'm not sure they're sober yet, even still right now. So I mean, it's good for a club to be able to celebrate something when they've not been able to before.
Any thoughts on the City loss? Neil, or Crystal Palace win? However you want to phrase it.
There's this moment in games, right? And Man City need a goal, and over the years we've just been conditioned to accept that they will get that goal. So I think this was one of those moments where I was like, "Hey, has the spell broken? Like, it's really not going to happen for them because the penalty doesn't go, happen." And they had a couple of other chances too. I think who was the kid? I think Rico Lewis. So one of the kids had a good chance in front of goal.
There were two of them.
Yeah.
One was Rico Lewis.
Yeah.
No, O'Reilly. What's his name? Not Rico Lewis.
O'Reilly. Yeah.
O'Reilly.
I think it's.
And the other one was this kid that they brought on the pitch. Never seen him play before. His Latin last name, and Echeverria. And just for everybody that says that Pep's plan wasn't working, those 2 point blank opportunities prove that Pep's thing works. It just the finishing didn't work, and they got the penalty. You can't say if somebody else takes that phantom penalty like Haaland, then it's one. So you can't, just because somebody lost, it doesn't mean their game plan didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, they aren't playing the greatest of football. See, the thing is, we're talking about all of these things, but when Manchester City plays a team like Crystal Palace, who are 12th in the league, in a final, you would expect them to be so far ahead that we are not talking about fine margins.
Not this Man City.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, this Man City is different. That's why I am I know we'll talk about the top four, top five race later. I have some hopes on Bournemouth and Fulham because of what I saw in the final. And I don't know, did it ever come out like why Haaland didn't take that penalty? Because that's
not really.
I don't know, but he's missed some this season though. And Marmoush was Frankfurt's penalty taker before he went to City. He hadn't taken one for City before, but I know Haaland he'd messed a couple up this season.
And to give Henderson his credit, that was a good save. Like that, I've seen penalties like that score. I think he knew which way he was going, I think the coaches told him, so he just went that way, and it was a good save. And it's funny to look at Henderson, even though we're in a final. It's like that's a Man United academy player that we sold for a little bit of money, who's
And he didn't do a
thriving on the
lot
team.
wrong. Like he checked all the boxes from somebody, who's coming through the academy, went out on loan, did well.
Mm-hmm.
Should have probably gotten that spot, but it always happens with a lot of these English clubs that somebody else comes in.
Yeah, you got to lean forward, Neil, because we lose you when you lean back. You got to be like an old man and like be in the camera, Mr. Magoo style.
Sorry. Yeah. So really happy for Palace. I was trying to find out like when was the last time a new club won their first trophy, and turns out it is good old Wigan. FA Cup again, final, Man City.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And they, just like Palace, made it to Europa League on the back of that. But in their case, they were relegated. So it's a relegated team playing in the Europa League.
Hilarious.
So, all those people like who were like Wenger came out of the quote that he's kind of that 16th and 17th place team don't deserve a spot in the Champions League. Well, we had a relegated team playing Europa League.
Or don't beat us so that we're 15th and 16th, and it looks bad when we're in the Europa League finals. How about that, Wenger? That's another thing.
No, great scenes like everything from like the tifo that they came out with this the Palace fans about that the Palace father who was captured on TV with his kids from like 10 years back. So they basically did. So this Palace fan who passed away recently, and I think about a decade back, there's a pretty significant goal for Palace, and he was on TV hugging his sons. And what the Palace fans did was that picture. They put out a tifo of that picture.
A real tifo, not a Arsenal tifo.
Oh yeah, not an Arsenal tifo. Not
that guy is never making tifos ever again.
Yeah, yeah, but that was really special. So I think everything, it just had to be a Palace win. Like it would have felt a little sad if it wasn't. So yeah, good on Palace, man.
Yeah, and I think
they have the bones of a good team, and I hope they like hold on to some of those players.
They have a better chance now that they're in Europa League, but because people might be more inclined to say like they're going to be in Europe, and some of the teams that normally are in Europe ain't, and so it's like, why would I leave Palace that's in Europe to go to a team like Spurs or Man United that might not be in Europe, or to gamble or to a team that's in the same type of Europe you're already in. So, and then also, but I the fact that they're in Europe, don't expect Palace to finish with as many points next year as this year, unless they're going to have to spend some money.
They didn't even finish with or they're not going to finish with like crazy amounts of points this year. I think they're 12th at the moment.
Yeah. They're not in the top 10. Yeah, so the fans are going to be happy that they're in Europe and that they want it, but wait till you see what it feels like to play midweek with a small squad. Yeah. I guess the other thing we could talk about, do we talk about Spurs and United now? What do you guys think about Wednesday?
It's a hard one to call. I mean, Spurs rested their entire team for the Villa game, which they asked to be. Why ask for the game to be moved if you're not even going to play the players who are going to play in the final? Just a complete waste of everyone's time. Although Spurs as a club is a complete waste of everyone's time.
Great
point. Yeah, I hope they lose Wednesday. But yeah, I mean that was something. And then United rested some of their players and they still lost as well. So I don't know. It's I don't know who's going to win. I want United to win because obviously I want Spurs to be denied that trophy. I want them to have a full season of pain because that's what this season becomes for them. Like they're one place above relegation. That is, for a club their size that spends their money, that's disgraceful. I mean, you guys aren't much better, but
No, we're not.
But I think whoever gets that trophy, it doesn't fully excuse this season, but at least it means there's like a ray of light, because you get to do Champions League next season. It means you can attract better players in the summer, and it means that steps forward can be taken. I think whoever loses this game, it's bleak. Like it is bleak whoever loses this game, and I think it's more bleak for Spurs if they lose this game than United, because I think with United, they've got a manager that they're backing and they're trying to build behind, and they're looking at making signings next summer. Who, there's already loads of talk about the signings and who it's going to be and how they're going to fit in, and they're exciting players like Cunha or Delap. Whereas Spurs, there's nothing on the horizon. They got a manager that they don't want. They got a manager they don't like, but it's kind of a sort of this like really tense like marriage at the moment that neither party wants to be in. But I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens if Spurs do win. If it's just like, right, thanks for the trophy, thanks for the Champions League, but get out.
It's going to be that for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
But I hope I never get to know. I hope I never get to find out.
Say that again, Neil, and then I'll jump in.
No, I think, I mean, they still have time between now and Wednesday to fire a manager before the final. They have more for that.
Hilarious.
Make it a Ryan Mason final. Make it a Ryan Mason.
I'd love that. So
I wouldn't. If I was you, I'd want Anjin.
Ryan Mason ain't gonna do nothing. I believe in Ryan Mason, but not in the way people would want me to believe in him. There's two things about the way you said it. It's funny. Like, how everybody wanted Crystal Palace to win as an underdog, and people normally hate the team that's won a lot, being Man City in that scenario. So everybody got joy from this team that's never won. Man United, in this case, is the team that's always won something. That's the team you're supposed to hate, but you still hate Spurs more, who's never won or hasn't won in a minute. So that's just a statement of like how hated Spurs fans are, that people wish that Man United, who's won recently, would win again over them. And I feel like it's a huge responsibility on Man United, I said this off the podcast, to keep the banter era of Spurs going. This is a huge weight on our shoulder, more than just winning a trophy. We don't want to be the team that ended the banter era for Spurs that the rest of the league enjoys and all the leagues below. So that's the big pressure on Wednesday. That's on our shoulders. And there was something else, but I can't remember now what I wanted to respond to. But yeah, man, I feel, you were saying that I feel we need to win this more. And let me explain why. Ange's getting fired regardless. Like, they have to, just like when you look at Ten Hag, he won the FA Cup against Man City. Everybody's like, fire him. But we got caught in our emotions. And I still don't think we should have fired him. I'm one of the few people, because the results of where we are this season, nobody believes if we'd have kept Ten Hag, we'd be one spot above Spurs, at just above the relegation zone. Like, Ten Hag definitely would have got us higher up in the table than this squad. So that's my justification to this day, but it would only be valid at this moment now when we got one more game left and you see where we're at. But I feel like we need the 80 mil from just being in the first group to repay for players and rebuild our squad. I feel like Spurs squad is already good. It's just they have a stubborn coach that won't make in-game adjustments to maximize the squad. Like, they got goals. If you look at their goals, amount they scored and where they are in the table, it is preposterous. So like anybody could, any good or decent coach can shore up that defense and make them a better defensive unit. And with the same amount of goals, they'd be in a Europe spot. But for us, like, another coach couldn't fix this. We have to keep Amarin, and we need to get him, be able to afford him players, and we need more players than Spurs does. I think on paper, Spurs is just a better squad. So I feel like we just needed more. Banter aside. What were you going to say, Neil?
No, I was gonna say like if you just going off, what each team has. I think obviously Spurs have the whole bogey of being Spursy, but just going off the two teams, I feel like Spurs are a better team because purely on the basis of having more goal scorers, and I think in a final it kind of comes down to that. I really don't know where United can get their goals from.
We don't know either. Every game. When we score,
Yeah.
it's such a like we over celebrate because we don't know how that shit happened.
Yeah, so I have a feeling like that's the edge, but again, like you never really know what's gonna happen with and she seems such a volatile, emotional character. And I just found out the video I sent you guys. I just found out that this has been something he's been going on for like decades now. He was emotional while on the Gold Coast of Australia.
Yeah, I just watched that video before I got on the podcast, and he's always been this cantankerous, even with Australian media while he was dressed like a rugby coach coaching football. So yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, good game. Regardless of what happens, I obviously don't want Spurs to win, but I also kind of don't want you guys to win and then be on the beach versus Villa, because I want you guys to have something to play for, like show something to the fans.
Can I just assure you something? We're losing
Yeah.
to Villa regardless, so it doesn't even matter what happens on Wednesday. All right.
Come on, you're
We're gonna
Old
play.
Trafford.
We're gonna after a game on Wednesday, on the weekend, he's gonna play some kids. You feel me?
But isn't there at least a slight chance that if he loses the final and loses the last game of the season and ends up not even hitting 40 points, that he gets sacked?
He won't get sacked. He won't get sacked.
I want him to at least believe that he might get sacked.
Hilarious. If we lose, he might put up a better fight against Villa. So
he put up a fight against us. I had no idea. Like, why? Like, literally a few days before the final. Why is everybody going into every challenge? Like, every challenge?
First of all,
even
you're in
after
the Premier
going
League.
one goal down.
First of all, you're in the Premier League. Number two, players are trying to get into the final squad. And then number two, we lost. Who did we lose to the week before? West Ham. It's you blame West Ham for beating us. If West Ham didn't beat us, if we beat West Ham, we might have just chilled this Sunday. But it's just too bad to lose to West Ham and then not put up a fight versus Chelsea.
Yeah, so that's why I'm I'm caught between wanting Martin to forever be miserable and also wanting Chelsea to go through this Champions League.
Our players are unpredictable, but I can guarantee you what is predictable, that if we win the Europa League, that is your 3 points. That is Villa's 3 points on Sunday. And sorry. So speaking of that, if you guys win, do you get in anyway, or do you need help?
Yeah. So Man City, Newcastle, and Chelsea have it in their hands. If all three win their games, they're going through regardless.
Okay.
And the reason for that is the goal difference. That Newcastle and Chelsea are in like the 20s, plus 20s, and Villa, I think, are in single digits. So
just win then.
Yeah, if we win. But again, we have the same problem. Like, I don't really know who's scoring our goals. Like, it's got to be Cuckoo Cucurella all over again, or like an own goal. I was going through all the list of games that Chelsea has played. The last game that we won by a margin of more than one goal that didn't involve an own goal or a penalty was Well, yeah. So Southampton, I'm not counting Southampton. Okay, that's
Why
gonna
not
be
counting
the
South? That's
qualifier.
disrespectful. Why
No
not counting?
Southampton, no Wolves. You have to go all the way back to December, early December, when we beat. I think we beat Aston Villa 3-0.
But you just beat us. Are you just counting it because
No,
of?
but by a margin of more than one goal. Like, like 1 goal games are like, it can go anyway. So I'm saying like our last convincing win was over a decent opposition that didn't involve an own goal or a penalty was like 5 months, 6 months back.
Sound like you're becoming 1-0 to the Arsenal, a very gritty team, and and you're playing Forest.
Yeah.
If you get the first goal, you maybe
need that first goal early.
Yeah, you need that first goal early in order for them to open up and give you the room to score more.
But I was actually thinking about that. But then if I look at the points table, so Forest have already secured conference. They're playing some form of European football because I don't think 8 push can catch up with them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they want to go Champions League, they got to win. They can't just sit back and hope for a draw.
Yeah, there you go.
So I think they got to like come out anyway.
Yeah, they got to play out of completely a different style of football that they've been playing all year,
and
which
that might be our opening.
Which creates the balance that you need because of the way we might approach Villa. At least Nottingham Forest will play, and when teams open up against you, that's when you guys thrive.
Yeah, because we're not great with like low blocks.
Right.
But yeah, if it's a chaos, I want a chaotic Pochettino game from last season. Because Maresca has been all about control, which I think it's okay for like if over the course of season, but in a one-off game when we need the goals, I think it could actually help us having a tennis match.
You guys just have to be more patient and streetwise, though. You can't just go wilding. Is it a home game or are you on the road?
Oh, we're on the road. We're at the community stadium. And surprisingly, what has happened in the last 6 months is that we've become one of the best defensive teams in the league.
And you're going to need that.
I have no idea how. We are like, I think, the third best defense in the league overall. But in the last 6 months, it's become really tight. So,
and that's what you lacked at the beginning of the season. And you guys are maturing and becoming more professional, and you can get the goals. So this is where you prove you deserve to be in Europe. What do you think?
It's going to be a fun game. I'm going to be watching it at a British pub in downtown. The same one, Ian, remember you and...
I came to a few times, yeah. Is it Shakespeare?
Yeah, Shakespeare, yeah. And they have like all the screens, so all the games are going to be showing, and my head's going to be going all over the place. So.
Hilarious. Oh, you shouldn't. You just focus on your game. If you win, unless you go down, then you start looking, praying to the other screens for help.
I trust that too.
Man City's in a weird position. Like tomorrow they play, right, Lee? Who they play?
Yeah. They are playing Bournemouth the same time that Palace are playing Wolves.
And we know Neil is going to be a Bournemouth fan tomorrow, right? And it's a possibility that Man City can start the day with 65 points and end the day with 65 points, or maybe only 66 points. Like
if they draw, that would be great, I think, because then it means that there's 4 teams on 66.
Shit, that's crazy.
And then it would be that would add some real tension to it. If they win and go up to 68, they kind of have their place, but they still couldn't. But if they lose or draw, then it just makes that last day so much more entertaining.
Yeah, so come on, Bournemouth. I feel like even though the title has been decided, the fight for these 3 last spots is just as exciting as a title race. Like I like when the Premier League gives you different variations of jeopardy. It's not the same type of jeopardy every year. Like last few years, it was Liverpool or Man City. And it became Arsenal versus Man City. And then now Liverpool's already got the title. And it's like, which of these 6 teams are going to get these 3 spots. And that's a different variation of like interest in jeopardy, you know, because you got to try to get Europe. So what do you think? Villa's in 5th right now. You think they play us?
Yeah.
What do you think, Lee? We already Neil hopes. We know what Neil hopes.
I mean, I don't know how the cup final really affects it, because I mean, like you said, I think regardless, you want to try and go out with a win. I think there might be slightly less intensity if you do lose that, but either way, you're playing off of you know, what will be an emotionally and physically draining game, whatever the result. And it's just what the players have got left in the tank after that. And you know, have you got anyone saying goodbye in that game? Is anyone like definitely out the door, leaving?
Probably be Eriksen,
yeah.
maybe Lindelof.
There's like so many players that I kind of even forgot they still play for United.
Yeah.
And you've got some people that we playing in a case of like, please don't replace me kind of thing.
Onana, Haaland.
Yeah.
Haaland.
I feel like we should keep Haaland. I feel like they're going to play a lot of new kids in this game. That's what I think. They're going to play Hamas. They're going to play Fredrickson. Like, if we win on midweek, then they'll give the kids more of a shot, get them ready for the summer tour more, and, you know, make them more of a part of our future. So,
So
Villa are going to Villa for the win in this game.
Villa. Yeah.
Don't you like want to make 40 points? Can you imagine the number of chants English football fans are going to come up with if you don't make 40 points?
They can chant as much as
season.
Are they going to be chanting while we're playing in the Champions League? Because that's all that matters.
Yeah.
To get less than 40 points and qualify for the Champions League will be wild. A number that has seen teams get relegated in the past, and you get Champions League football. That's just the most insane season.
I mean, Spurs can do the same thing. You think they?
Yeah.
So you know, you guys. It's not our fault that you guys didn't get into the weakest Champions League field, Europa League field of all time, like we did. Like, we picked our moment, and because of the way the new structure of the Champions League, this Europa League is definitely weaker, no question. And because there's Conference League, oh man, like all you need to do is. Southampton could have gotten to the finals of this Europa League if they'd have put themselves in a position last year. Yeah. So thank you, Erik ten Hag, for beating Man City last year, so that we can get into.
Europe you didn't even qualify for the Europa League through the league position. This is like multiple levels of backdoor escapes. Yeah,
legal backdoors, bro. That's us. Legal backdoors, no matter what Wenger says.
It'd be crazy if we like somehow win the Champions League next season while still not being in the top 6.
I could see us doing that, but we need to really use that Champions League money and buy some players. And we need to have like a health run, a fitness run, like players. Like, have you heard of Kobe Mainoo?
Yeah.
Because I think Harry and Mas has played more than him for us, and isn't fit. Like, there's Collier. There's just so many players like that have injuries. You ever heard of Luke Shaw?
Oh yeah, he's another one of them who.
Yeah. And who does Newcastle play last week? Because they ain't safe.
Newcastle have Everton at home, and Everton they've done their thing. They've done their goodbye to Goodison.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that'll be an interesting one. If Newcastle play with the intensity that they approach almost every home game with, they'll be fine. They'll just bully them, and they'll play at 100 miles an hour. They better hope Isak's back and fit for that one.
Mm-hmm.
I think he will be.
All right. Even though Everton, they've been playing consistently, whether win or lose, they give you a hard time. And I don't know how Moyes is getting them to do that. And they're scoring, you know. They scored at home this week, 2 goals.
I mean, it was against us.
Still,
That should count.
Man
That
City
should
couldn't
count for
beat
like
y'all.
that should count for like 0.5 for a goal.
So there is. And who else do we cover at this point of the table at this spot? Is that it, right? We covered everybody.
Newcastle's kind of going under the radar because they're still, you know, it feels like they're at home versus Everton, who have nothing to play for. They already did their goodbyes to Goodison. You know, it should be an easy 3 points, but you know, funnier things have happened, especially because every team is going to play under the pressure of every other team's, scorecard.
Yeah. What if the pressure gets to Newcastle? But they've qualified before for, you know, this ain't like a new thing to them. They just won a final. You know, they're gonna put the Everton fans in those in shittier seats than their old stadium that they're gonna, you know. So
I've been in those seats. They are a long way away.
Yeah. They shouldn't be legally be able to charge away fans for actually being at the game. I heard that's how bad they are.
Oh yeah, you got to take your binoculars. They are high, and you better be doing leg day leading up to it because you need calves of steel. There's no lift, there's no elevator, there's no escalator. Like you are walking up a lot of stairs to get up there. It's a long way up. I kind of feel like Newcastle missed an opportunity though this weekend against Arsenal, because we know Arsenal can be fragile as well, and obviously not having Isak kind of hurt them. Because if they could have got even a draw there, like it sucks Arsenal right in, and it means everyone has everything to play for going into this final week, and they kind of let Arsenal off with one there to let them sneak up into the guaranteed place.
Yeah, that would have been fun. Absolutely fun. But they not only missed an opportunity, they was missing Isak. They were missing Joe Linton. And I'm sure those players not being there, you know, Arsenal only won by 1 goal, you know, so.
Great finish from Rice, though. I'll give him props for that. That was a really good goal.
Yeah. And all the Arsenal fans who have turned on Odegaard lately, was an Odegaard assist, so. Hey, what does Arteta have? Like, there's a lot of Arteta Holt vibes out there, you know. It's funny. Robbie is defending Arteta, has to defend Arteta more. It's become a life of its own, like his defense against Arteta, you know, like with the rabid Arsenal fans. But what do you think that Arteta has to do, not just in the transfer window, but what's the least he can achieve to like this new season coming up to like justify him still being Arsenal's manager?
I think win something. Like I feel like Arsenal fans would settle down a bit about the league and get knocked out of Europe if they could win like an FA Cup or something. Because that's the thing that people always throw trophies at him. The thing like he won, you know, an FA Cup in his first season. That was it, kind of thing. And I feel like he could maybe get away with like a closer title race, or one where they don't go ahead and then bottle it, or one where they keep things close. Because I think next season the Premier League will be tougher in terms of I don't think it will just be one team running away with it like Liverpool did this year. I think there'll be more people in the mix next year, and Arsenal basically need to try and elevate themselves above the likes of Newcastle and Villa and people like that, and show that they're way above that, whereas they've only just been above that. Like they're closer to those teams than they are to Liverpool this season in terms of points in the end. I know they had a good European run to a certain degree as well, but Arsenal fans are getting those expectation levels of like the peak Wenger years back. They do expect a lot.
I mean, based on, you know, we're looking at like how the top 8 could be involved in Europe, which could play into Arsenal's hands. Arsenal's more prepared to deal with Europe than a lot of the teams that caused them to drop points this season. So let me just go back to, like Chelsea's in Europe, but it ain't real Europe. But I will give them credit for being in Europe. So they're going to spend some money and still kind of be where they are. But Aston Villa, they were in Europe too. And they're close to, so they'll probably be used to, but Newcastle won't be as good in the league next year. If Forest makes it into Europe, which they will, one version of it, they won't be as good as they were next year. And then City, we don't know how much money they have to spend to get back to where they need to get to, and who, if their buys are going to kick in to be as effective as, like, I don't expect City to win the league next year.
You probably didn't expect Liverpool to win the league this year at this point last year.
No, this year at the beginning of the season, I was like, why not? I was like, people were counting Liverpool off, but I was thinking Liverpool is usually good at choosing managers. It's like, I know Arne Slot never coached in the Prem before, but I feel like they picked him because he was good enough. So I was giving him that credit. And then the squad, I was like, that's a good squad. It's like when Conte won, right? Everybody, when he came in, like if we go back to the videos, I was like, Chelsea can win this because Mourinho got fired, but that was the squad that he won with. And then Conte added, who was it? Who was a goal scorer from Atletico Madrid? Diego Costa, and then they won it.
That's Mourinho.
Arsenal definitely need to figure out, like, either getting a 9 or getting Saka to score goals again.
They have to get it. If they get a 9, they need a 9.
Gotta get striker, and he has to abandon the Kai Havertz project.
Yes.
Well, the thing is, you can get away without a 9 if you have a winger like a Salah who's going to put up numbers.
Right.
And Saka's just gone cold.
Yeah, you need another definite scoring person to balance out your attack. So that, say if there's no Saka, at least you have one in the 9 position. It can't just be Saka's the only goal creating and converting option. And if he gets injured, then you're dead. Like, look how many goals Arsenal got, but they didn't have, like, you just need more scoring options, like definite scoring options, not like a Havertz or what's his name, Marino. You need a goal scorer.
But they also, like, I feel this season, this version of Arsenal, because now Arteta's been around for so long, right? Like, it's like a 6th season or something. I think when he started, he had a really good free-flowing style of play. I think what we've been seeing this season is not that version of Arsenal. So I think even if he gets the recruitment right, he still has issues with a style of play that can create a lot of goals. I think their um, open play XG is even lower than Brentford. It's
What's
like
open play XG again?
Open play. So you know what's XG, right? Like,
right. Chances
and then
missed.
if you take away, yeah, well, yeah, if you, I mean, it can impact your chances missed, but uh, from your expected goals, if you take away the stuff from penalties, from corners, from all the set pieces, and any you've accumulated through own goals and stuff like that, just an open play, their XG is lower than Brentford's, which is just one data point. It probably doesn't mean something in the overall picture, but I'm saying, like, there are 6 or 7 teams ahead of them in the Premier League this season. So you would, you probably expect Man City to come back strong next year. You probably expect Liverpool to just keep getting better. Um, they've already made a few signs. They've probably already got Trent's replacement ready. Who knows which which number 9 Chelsea is going to buy. So I feel even from a style of play point of view, Arteta, there are questions on Arteta which needs to be sorted. So he needs to get recruitment right in the forward line, and he needs to give his players more solutions.
Yeah. And ultimately, it's his fault that a lot of the fans want him out, because he tried to insist that Havertz would be a good 9. Yeah. And Havertz is just, I'm not mad at Havertz. He's a great backup if your 9 has to be out a few games, but he ain't no 9. And there's nothing in the history of Havertz for Arteta to have jumped to that conclusion.
He had 3 seasons of watching Havertz at Chelsea to know that. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, it's not like you're getting him straight off Bayer Leverkusen and you didn't know what Havertz could do or could not do.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. That's all. This is on him.
I like how you guys are saying this right before he plays Havertz as a 9 against Southampton at the weekend. Havertz scores a hat trick, and then Havertz scores a hat trick, and then he thinks that he doesn't need to sign a 9 this summer.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
Yeah,
that'd be perfect.
Yeah, that's on him.
I think the civil war in the Arsenal fan base has more to do with Havertz than Arteta. you could take Arteta out of the situation, and there'll still be a civil war as long as Havertz keep getting fit and keep getting minutes.
Well, that's on him. Like, his loyalty to Havertz could end his Arsenal management career, and it's just like, I insist that this guy could be this. And Havertz has scored some goals. He's been more successful goal-wise at Arsenal than Chelsea, but Chelsea's where he won a Champions League and scored the winning goal. So, and I'm sure Arsenal fans would take.
No, I mean, no Chelsea fans saying we used him well. That's the difference. Like, we are under no pretension that we either used him well or he was good. Like, he had a few good stretches, and we are so lucky that one of those stretches culminated in the European Cup.
Let me ask you a question. Was Frank Lampard really that bad of a coach at Chelsea, or was it the fact that he had a front line that included Havertz and Timo Werner?
See, I always gonna have soft corner for Lampard because he gave me one of my most favorite seasons following Chelsea. Like, that season was just magic because we didn't expect anything. Transfer ban, coach leaving, and all the kids coming through. Hazard gone, and best player Hazard gone, and next best player Kante injured almost all entire season. So what he did that season, I'm always going to have a soft corner for him. And even the next season, I keep reminding people that he got sacked in the 3rd week of January. We were top of the league in the 1st week of December. And there was a transfer, there's an international weekend in between. So literally, it was everything fell apart, a couple of injuries, and then everything fell apart within very quickly. But since then, when I followed, what he's tried to do at Everton and stuff like that, I think my major problem with Lampard is like he kind of abandons his own principles too quickly. So that, I think he still has a great eye for talent. I was just watching a podcast of Alex Iwobi, and he said that Lampard changed his career at Everton. That among all the fans, all the managers that came through the door, he revived his career. So yeah, I'm glad to see that he's probably doing what he should have done all along, like taking taking it step by step, at those lower clubs. So we'll see. Maybe he has a future. I think he's done overall, I think he's done an
he's done a good job
as a manager
at where he is at now.
Yeah,
he's done better than I thought he would do at Coventry. I thought he might struggle there because they were in a bit of a bad spot. They had a manager that had been there for a long time, and they were lower in the table than they probably should have been. But for him to get them in the playoffs, I think was a decent turnaround, and their fans love him at Coventry now. He was even sort of being linked with us for next season. Which for once I wasn't as mad. I wasn't as mad about it as I would have been in the past.
So you see how fast
that'd been a good podcast.
You see how fast Neil turned on Lampard after he just bigged him up. when the
No,
suggestion.
no. I would love for Lampard to be in Southampton, but I just want to hear that podcast with Lee is going to be pure gold. The day after he gets announced.
Hey, the one that I never want is Steven Gerrard. I would
Oh, okay.
begrudgingly accept Lampard. I don't think it is. Apparently, we're getting Will Still, the young English Belgian guy who's been managing in France at a young age. So he's apparently like almost done now, according to the media today. So that's apparently who we're going to get. But yeah, I mean, like I say, props to Lampard. I mean, we're going to come up against him next season now, most likely if he stays at Coventry. So
You
that'll
hope
be
he
interesting.
stays because I think that's one thing that's again been missing in his,
Yeah.
like what he's on this managerial journey.
Longevity.
He's he's just moved too many times. Like he got sacked, he can't do much about that. But when he's got a chance, I hope he sticks around.
Me and Lee were talking about Syria before we started the podcast, and
crazy day.
It's yesterday was kind of bananas because Napoli blew their chance to win the title outright when they dropped points to not even a team that's at the
Parma.
top, a beatable team, and they let Parma, I think they equalized or something like that. And so then it was up to Inter, who's in the Champions League final, to beat Lazio, and Inter turned that game into a reverse version of their game against Barca. And they had a Barca player come out on top, ex-Barca, Pedro, ex-Chelsea player, Pedro, took him out. So then now it's
he's
a
the most popular man
lead
in Napoli right now.
Yeah.
Well, also, Pedro's had one of his best seasons with Antonio Conte.
Yeah, so he's paying him back. He's like, I don't play for you, but I play for you. Like, he should be at the parade.
Pay me old gaffer back.
I always play for you, even when I play for another team.
Napoli drew 0-0 with Parma, and Scott McTominay almost scored a great goal. He took a free kick, and he put it in the top corner. But there's a goalkeeper at Parma who a lot of clubs are looking at called Suzuki.
Oh, that's the guy.
He's a black Japanese guy.
The Japanese, yeah.
And he's a goalkeeper, and he is unreal. Like, he's been doing some crazy things this season, like pulling off ridiculous saves. And there's a lot of clubs looking at him. So it'd be interesting to see if he gets a move this summer. But another interesting thing about these games, Inter Lazio and Parma Napoli, all the managers were sent off in both games.
Oh, shit.
So I don't know if that means that Conte and Inzaghi are both going to be banned for the final game of the season. So they better be putting some trust in their assistants. There was a great picture of like Inzaghi and the Lazio manager Baroni like watching the game side by side, like up in the stands
after they just fought on the side of the pitch.
Yeah, and Conte got sent off as well for Napoli, and so did the Parma gaffer. So yeah, everyone was getting sent off.
Yeah, so next weekend, Inter. Is it going to be Inter or is it going to be Napoli? Inter would be on for the treble if they win, right? Because who won?
They won the Supercoppa. I know. I think they did win the Supercoppa.
Right, and then the finals of the Champions League, and if they win the league.
Yeah, the Coppa Italia was the one I saw them get knocked out in against AC. I think they lost the Super Coppa against AC as well.
Okay, so they're not on for the treble.
Remember. But Inter's final game, though, weirdly, it's away against Como. And Cesc Fabregas has got Como playing some good stuff this season. Like, they started the season looking like they were going to be odds on for relegation. But Fabregas has built like a really strong reputation really quickly there. Like, they're a dangerous team. And Napoli are going to play Cagliari, who I think they should take care of. Because Cagliari are like in a position where they can't really do much now. They can maybe move down one space from 14th to 15th. So they're not in danger at all. Como don't really have anything. Como can't go up or down. So as good as Fabregas has had them, like, yeah, Inter and Napoli are both kind of got to play against carefree teams this week. So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing for them.
I think it's bad. I think sometimes these teams are haters. I've experienced that. in the Premier League. Like when when Man City won, like it's just a bunch of haters. It's like, what are you doing, bro? This has nothing to do with you. Like, stand down. But teams be trying to like ruin it. Like they want to have their say. They want to be able to write a song about it. Here it go. So we'll see.
Fabregas also has the Conte connection.
Yeah.
Which one?
Fabregas.
Oh yeah.
Also
Another
has
ex-player.
And
And
he's
he's just
play-
coming up against all his old lieutenants.
Yeah, hilarious.
A nice story from Serie A this weekend as well was the send-off that Claudio Ranieri got at Roma. His final home game for Roma. They're guaranteed Europe, either conference or Europa, but they beat AC Milan 3-1. He came out of retirement to step in at Roma when they were on like their third manager of the season with him. But he's really stabilized them. They're fifth at the moment, and he's going back into retirement. He got a really nice send-off from their fans.
That's good for him. Yeah, I did see that he got them to fifth because they were in trouble, and he did stabilize them. So good for him. Hats off to Ranieri. You always love Ranieri. The only people that don't love Ranieri are Chelsea people. But you know,
Ranieri gets a lot of love at Chelsea.
He does good.
We won him
Tinkerman.
the biggest title of his life.
Oh yeah, you did pay him back.
Yeah,
you did pay. And speaking of that, let's give our Jamie Vardy thoughts.
Yeah,
as his Leicester career comes to an end. 200 goals for Leicester, but not 200 goals in the Premier League, right?
Yeah, 200 overall for Leicester in 500 games. Like he's played his last game for Leicester on the same day that he signed for the club, 13 years apart, same day of the month. And yeah, 500 games, 200 goals. I put him in my fantasy team and captained him this weekend because I'm like, he's going to score. I'm like, he's going to score. There's no way he's not going to score in this game. And yeah, he got his tribute. He's not going to play the final game, so he's done and dusted. 500.
Why not though?
Because he said he wanted to go out at home. He said he wanted his last game to be at home. Yeah. So he's just not going to play the last game against Bournemouth. And I kind of get that. Like, the send-off is nice at home. Let's close that chapter there. I think it'd be really fitting for him if he went and signed for a Red Bull club next year. Just because he always has a can of Red Bull
that has to happen, right?
So let's see him go to Salzburg or New York or Leipzig, and someone just so he can finally get the link up that he needs.
Maybe New York. New York is not like the only Red Bull team that takes old players is New York. All the other ones is like, can you drink? Are you drinking age? No? All right, we got you. Because we're trying to sell you later on.
I was very sure, like when the whole, when that team won that league, that at some point, and I think he came close to leaving too, right? It's just crazy that we are talking, it's been 10 years that he's just didn't leave. I think he's the only guy from that league, from that, team that hasn't left. And he is probably the most high-profile player at that point.
Yeah. It's crazy as well that there's like a picture from a championship game in his early spells there where Leicester have him and Harry Kane on the bench. Kane was on loan from Spurs, and Chris Wood was the starting forward for Leicester that day. So Chris Wood was starting up front, and they had Kane and Vardy both on the bench.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn. And just hats off for him to stay with them when they went down, got them back up. Yeah. They won the championship, right?
Yeah.
Last year. Yeah. So then like he's got a championship title, whatever that. He's
got an FA Cup as well.
Got an FA Cup. He's got a Premier League. Like, it's going to be tough for another Leicester player to top that Leicester resume. And like for a team that's not necessarily considered a heavyweight, Leicester has definitely punched above their weight and done some damage, and they're a recognizable team. Like you have to like respect them, and it's one of those teams you like, whether it's your team or not. And Vardy is one of the reasons that you do. So congratulations, man. Great job. Great career over there.
I can't wait for him to like go to Saudi Arabia and break every rule in the kingdom. He's gonna be on the they're gonna have to make so many official pardons for this guy.
Hilarious.
That documentary is gonna be crazy. The
Red
Jamie
Bull
Vardy
is Red Bull
documentary.
isn't legal in Saudi Arabia. What's going on? What are you talking about?
Well, I'm sure he's not gonna be sticking just to the Red Bulls.
That's true. That's true. He don't look like he's a rules type. Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Uh,
yeah, but someday somebody should make a good documentary on Jamie Vardy. Get him to play it. Yeah.
Yeah, hilarious. While he looks young enough to play
Yeah.
him. And you had him in your fantasy team. What's the results? This is the second to last week of fantasy league results. So who's where you're all at? And also read off Neil where Neil is at. Neil, you were in there this year, right? You didn't have it? No? All right, smart.
I was away, like I was out of the game for it took me a while to like get back to watching football. I was watching, but like I wasn't really following things.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
And then the results weren't helping you to want to follow it either.
No, actually, the time when I was like going through a lot of shit in my personal life was when Chelsea was doing really well.
Oh, okay.
So, in the first half of the season. And then I got started and things just fell off. The wheels fell off.
I'm sure Chelsea will be good. If Lavia doesn't get as injured as he was this year and last year, like Lavia's got to have a year when how old is he? And to have, how old?
21?
He's like 20 still. Yeah.
So then I feel like a lot of, even Messi, it took him to be 21 to not be injured for a minute. You know, and I feel like, I don't know, there's a growth thing, you know, where, you know, hopefully, like even Michael Jordan came to the NBA young, and it took him to be like 21, 22 to stop being injured and be Michael Jordan. And, you know, with that addition in your midfield, Jackson and whoever you buy in the summer, and I don't know if you can replace your goalkeeper, you're going to be way better.
Oh, we need also a couple of points there. I think for the goalkeeper, we already have a solution if these guys are smart enough. So you know this guy Petrovic, who played for parts of last season, and
Ex-MLS keeper.
MLS keeper played for
Yeah.
us part of last season. But then we sent him on loan to a sister club, Strasbourg, and he's been one of the best keepers in Liga this season. He's ended up as their player of the season. Like both in terms of shot stopping and with the ball at his feet, he's done great. So he could be the answer to our goalkeeping problem, and we don't have to spend any money. But I really feel like we need to buy some genuine world class players in the attack line. Like my dream would be Harry Kane and Rodrigo, but I know that's not going to happen. These guys are going to go again find some random guy from some random place. But
What about
I really
Esteban
feel
and
like
the players you're getting coming in? Those are attackers.
okay, so Esteban is going to come in on the right wing. But I feel like we can get Rodrigo. There's been some links to Rodrigo.
I've seen those. I don't like them.
But because his ideal position is the left wing, and Madrid will never play him on the left wing. So
he's a left winger too.
Yeah, like
all this time he's been a left winger. He's been mad effective out there on the right.
Well, yeah, but he's because he can't play ahead of Vinicius.
Right,
Mbappe is there, so
they
if
got
you can get somebody like
no
him,
nines and no right wingers. They just keep buying left foot people.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. They're so unbalanced over there.
Yeah. So and striker, like there's going to be a big striker merry-go-round in the summer, because United, Chelsea, Arsenal, I even think Liverpool would probably need a striker. And you got like Sesko, Gyökeres, Osimhen, all these players. But I would not risk any of these guys. Go to Munich with a bag of money, Tell Harry Kane that the Premier League record goal scoring thing is waiting for you. You got to get back on track and get him. And, let's make the Spurs fans, if they have even a modicum of happiness from the Europa League final, like make them miserable yet again.
He's never played. He's never playing for another London club.
Yeah.
Now that
He's already played for two.
Well, now that he's broke
he's Arsenal guy.
He's a what? Oh yeah, he's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, he's Arsenal youth.
Yeah, he won't play. He won't go to Chelsea. I guarantee that. You'll never see him in a Chelsea shirt. Apparently, Osimhen, I read today, is going to Juventus.
Yeah.
So
they're going to pay all that money for him.
Yeah, and he's played in Serie A before as well. So yeah, I could see that happening.
I was watching some highlights of him because I was like, should Man United want him? And there's this time that he buys before he shoots every time. That before I wasn't sure if he could play in the EPL, but he does something. When you watch somebody and he's like, oh, that's why.
Yeah,
he has that. Oh, that's why.
I'd love to see him in the Premier League just to see if he can do that. Because I mean, he's been a goal machine for a while now, and he makes his own chances. He's difficult he's a sort of striker that centre backs hate to play against. So, yeah, I'd love to see him at a Premier League team. But I think, from what I've read, the Juve links sound pretty strong. So, but there's other forwards out there as well, like Jonathan David at Lille,
for free, right?
Load of goals. Yeah, he's available. Yeah. Weirdly, he's got a brother who's also doing pretty well and plays in the Belgian league, and I think he's one of the top scorers in the Belgian league this year, and he plays for a club that are winning the Belgian league. So it's a talented family.
Yeah.
Just have a look here.
You sure it is that? While you look, is there that many choices?
Yeah, promise David.
Hilarious.
17 goals in 33 games this season. 23 years old.
Shit. Well, he should at least move up a league.
6'5" as well.
What?
Yeah.
Are all his goals headers?
I don't think so, but he's up there too. Him and his brother both bagsmen. So
bagsmen, hilarious. Let's do the fantasy league and then bounce and then wait till there's the games tomorrow and then there's heart pounding Wednesday, man. Shit. Who knows?
Fantasy league. I've scored the most amount of points.
Oh yeah.
This year, yeah. Not this year. Sorry, this week. Not this year. I wish it was this year.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It's gone well. So yeah, it's let's have a look here. I'm 14th. I got 51 points this week. So my big scorers were, I got a clean sheet for Branthwaite. I put him in for the game against Southampton. I was like, we're not scoring. So I was like, we might keep a clean sheet if we do what we did against City, but we're not scoring. So either way, Everton defenders were a safe bet. I got a goal for Bowen. I got an assist for Elanga. I had Vardy captain with a goal. I had Wissa, who got me a goal and an assist, I think, as well. So I've done okay, and I've still got Gvardiol and Edison to play for City against Bournemouth. So I'm hoping those guys can deliver something in that game, even though I don't want City to win. But if City can keep a clean sheet, if there's a 0-0 in that game, I'll be happy, because then I get the last day drama and I get a couple of clean sheets for the fantasy team. Big letdowns this week, though. Salah obviously missed that open goal, but I think a lot of other people have Salah, so not much in that. I've kept faith with Saka, and he's just been doing nothing for me. But I'm keeping him in. I'm keeping him in because they're playing Southampton on the last day of the season. I'm gonna captain Saka, and I don't know. There's a burger van that I've been to twice this season on the streets outside Southampton. And the 2 times I ate at that van, we lost 5-0 both games. So I might go to that van again.
Are you even going to the
Saka.
game or just to the van?
I'm going to the game. So yeah, maybe I'll do that and see if I can get some Saka points to help me stay ahead of Martin. But I mean, I don't know what's been going on there. But yeah, I got 51 points so far, but I could get more. Martin's only got 42, so I was ahead of Martin anyway before this weekend. So I've extended my lead over Martin. The only player he's got left is Eze against Wolves. So I've got a City goalkeeper and defender against Bournemouth. He's got Eze against Wolves. So he needs like a big performance from Eze to try and close that gap to me.
And Eze's on vacation already.
Yeah.
After
Martin did okay though. He got a goal for Raul Jimenez. He got a clean sheet for Mikalenko and Pickford. He got Mbumo in there as well. So Martin did okay, but yeah, we're all the same at the top. Ahmad Zekri still number 1, Brian Avina number 2, Joseph Duda number 3. So there as you were. Talking of Mbumo though, I've seen him linked with United today.
Yeah, he's been linked like the last few weeks. Like he's one of the players. I'll take him. These the players that's been linked is Guy Correz, who I'm saying it wrong, Joe Correz, Delap, who I really want because he has the Premier League experience. And I feel like if he scored 12 for Ipswich, he could probably get 20 for us because our XG is good. Ain't nobody just putting it away. And we're linked, and we heard that he agreed to terms, Cunha. So we just have Cunha and Delap or Gokares, but I would prefer Delap, and Semenyo is also linked, or Mbueno. Just 2 proven. We have no substitutes up front, and that's going to be the problem on Wednesday. It's like who we play. Everybody's on loan or injured. So we just need every time pundits talk about the 3-4-3 and Ruben Amorim being stubborn and ignore the fact that Rashford is at Villa, Zirkzee is injured, and it's his first season anyway, and that Sancho's at Chelsea, and Anthony is in Spain, killing it. It mystifies me. And there's no substitutes. And Garnacho's like 20 years old, 21, learning his trade, like literally learning. I was like, are you guys, there's not even any homework to do. The answers are right in front of you. It's like, if you don't have any finishers, it's not the system. It's just, you need the players in the closing position, and it makes a huge difference. So, yeah. So let's get 2 or 3 of those dudes. Ahmad is back. Zirkzee will be back. Oh, there's rumors that we might get rid of Zirkzee. Those rumors are hurting me. Those hurt me more than when I saw them boo him. Like Zirkzee, of all the Dutch players now in circulation, I feel that Zirkzee is going to be a monster. He's going to be like the way they talk about, and this is going to sound crazy, but the way they talk about Bergkamp, like, yo, bro, the shit. Look, just think about Zirkzee, what he did to Saliba in the Arsenal game on the road. Like, he just decided to say, you know what? I'm going to just play. And if you just go online and just look at Zirkzee highlights in a bad season where he got booed for United, look at him in red. And you'll be like, who the fuck is that? He plays for United? When? Like, there's some amazing things he does. So, yeah.
Talking of Dutch as well, there's a crazy end to the season in the Dutch league.
Oh, where's Ajax now?
They lost.
It's over?
They both, PSV and Ajax both won on the last day of the season, but it meant that PSV won the title by 1 point.
Damn, Ajax.
they were ahead by 9 points, and then the last like couple of weeks they just crumbled. They were letting in last minute goals, losing to teams they shouldn't lose against, drawing games they shouldn't draw. The manager quit today because he was just like, yeah, I fucked up.
He came second. You don't quit because you.
This is the kind of shame Yardman wants Arteta to have.
Yeah,
You had your turn.
Why didn't he
points
use
to go.
Arteta's trust the process line on himself?
There ain't no process when you drop a 9-point lead.
What an honorable coach.
Yeah, I rate it. I rate it. Also, just reading now, there's all these big rumours that have just come out in the last couple of hours that Klopp has agreed to take over at Roma.
Not as a coach.
Yeah,
Klopp has a job.
yeah, he's like a pen pusher at Red Bull. He don't want to do that.
You got to know JB Vardy's turning up, and he's like, I'm not having none of that. Like, I'm a good man manager, but even I can't handle that.
That's pretty. I don't know if that's why Roma.
I don't
I
know.
guess
maybe
I gotta go.
All right. I guess we're all gonna go.
So, yeah.
All right. So all right. Thanks, Lee.
See ya.
Thanks, Neil. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Keep watching.
Yeah.
A few
Bye.
more episodes left. Love you. 1.
Bye.